The biggest reason creators and entrepreneurs fail is because they're unwilling to take constructive criticism. They're unwilling to hear that their baby is ugly. And sometimes it just is. And that doesn't mean that their baby won't grow up to be a very beautiful human being, but they have to be willing to take what they have and hear other people's opinions of it and grow in that direction.
Change is inevitable. Like every success happens because you changed something and it was a fear that was within you.
Motivation only lasts for a short amount of time, but discipline is what carries you forward.
I can't do this on my own, period.
Are you looking at your business in terms of emotion, or are you looking at your business in terms of what's practical?
I still believe that America is the best country in the world. Where can kid of immigrants with no education become a physician?
This is Small Business Celebration, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs.
Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. It's our season finale. Yes, it's our final episode of the season. And this particular episode, we're going to be talking about strategies to consider for a logo that will stand the test of time. We're also going to be talking about those unexpected challenges that you'll face when you open up a second location, most likely out of town. And our guest today is a very special guest. You've seen her in B-roll here on Small Business Celebration, and she keeps popping up periodically here and there on the show. And I've been getting a lot of questions and comments from visionaries just like you going, who is she? It's producer Emily! And for visionaries who don't know who are you, and what is it that you do?
I am producer Emily, and I produce Small Business Celebration.
Now, you didn't just happenstance get into this profession as a producer. How'd you get involved in this, and how'd you meet up and join our team?
Well, it started in high school a long time ago. I started working in film through high school and college, and when I graduated I had a friend who said, hey, I need help with a YouTube channel. I need someone to produce it. And I said, I've never done that before. He said, yeah, but you'll figure it out. I said, okay, so I did that for about a year, and then I switched over as a creative director and a social media manager for Story King Studios, working with Josh Moore.
Right.
And it was there, and I would always bug him and say, oh, Josh, you need to do YouTube. Josh, you need to do YouTube, because he's so smart, and his wisdom is just, so many decades of wisdom. I'd always bug him, like, you need to put your knowledge online. Right. And finally he turned to me and said, Emily, you need to do YouTube. I said, okay, well, I'm working for you now. And you walked in the door right as, we were having that conversation, and he said, oh, here, help Michael. And so it was kind of, I just got passed off.
It is more than that, because when you first started with us, you weren't full-time. No. What did you do for us at the beginning?
At the beginning, I was just doing an audit of the channel. Right. I just went through and...
What were we doing wrong?
Yeah, what are you doing wrong? And was trying in the nicest way possible to say, this sucks.
It's a great show for a podcast, not for YouTube.
Yeah, so I was just looking at it from okay, I've never watched this before. What would I be thinking if I was somebody on YouTube? I started there as just auditing the channel, and I joke that I was on a plane to Texas writing the YouTube audit, and as I was sending it off thinking, hopefully he doesn't get too mad. Like, it's not, there's stuff to fix, but hopefully this is nice, constructive criticism and not just straight criticism. And then really after a few hours of work, I thought, oh, okay, he's not gonna need me anymore. And here we are 13 months later, I'm still here.
And to give Visionary Nation an idea, when you first came on board, on average, how many views a week were we getting per original episode?
It was brutal. There were 30, 40.
30, 40, yeah. And what are we getting now?
Oh, like 3,000 on average.
So we've had more than 100% increase since you've been aboard. I think I'll keep her.
It's been really exciting to see, but every month I'm like, okay, we can do this. And I would tell my mom, he's gonna let me go. Like we haven't gotten the views. And really, 3 to 6 months, within the 5-month mark, we saw the mark go ring, and it just picked up. So it was a happy moment when I could finally say, I've done something useful.
When the camera's not on, what are some of the things that you do for us?
Well, I help set up the, Visioneers I'm sure have seen the setup as people walk into Salty's and they see our camera set up. So I help set up and tear down, and if they've been lucky enough to be a guest on the show, or maybe unlucky enough, they've gotten berated by my questions because I ask questions behind the scene, things that maybe we missed or something else I'd like to learn from them. And then I do the blogs on the back end of things and some social media stuff.
And for Visioneers who may be seeing some of this as deja vu, where are we?
We are at Salty's Barbecue and Catering, and they've been gracious enough to let us invade their space yet again.
Whether your business is having seminars, company parties, safety meetings, or you personally are having weddings, receptions, anniversaries, or birthdays, Salty's Banquet and Event Center is the place for you. Simply come down to 6720 Shirra Court here in Bakersfield, 93313, or give them a call for reservations at 661-563-2739. Now, one of the things that we're doing with the season finale is we're pulling out episodes or scenes from episodes that ended up on the cutting room floor. Now, Emily, what are some of the reasons why these episodes or scenes from these episodes didn't appear in the final cut?
What a lot of people don't know is we record tape for about an hour, sometimes more, and our show is only 30 minutes.
Right.
So naturally, not everything's going to make it. And then sometimes we go on tangents and we get some really cool information, but it just doesn't fit into the flow of the show.
Sure.
And we want to be able to put the best podcast we can on YouTube. And so sometimes clips, they just end up going by the wayside so that our audience understands the episode to its fullest.
And for our first clip that ended up on the cutting room floor that we're resurrecting here for our season finale, who is our guest and who's the clip and what is this business?
Our first clip is from Justin Salinas of Cake It with Justin.
The first step out of your mom's kitchen was the coffee shop.
Yeah.
How'd you get that?
It didn't come easy.
Okay.
I had to reach out to several people who said no.
Okay.
The coffee shop was...
So you went door to door, knocking on doors and say, will you let me do my show in your
absolutely.
Okay,
And I don't know if this is too... listen, I call myself a prostitute. I'll get myself out there.
Right.
But this is the thing. When I reached out to businesses, the likelihood of them offering their space was minimal because I didn't have a presence. So it took somebody to put something out there for me. But it wasn't easy. I did have to put some of the money out to this event space.
Okay.
They said, we want $200 for you to host it here.
Okay.
And let me tell you something, that didn't come with a lot of perks. There was no air conditioning.
Oh no, so all of your icing is melting.
It was July.
Of course it was.
In
yeah,
Bakersfield,
yeah,
you guys know.
Yeah.
And for $200 I got to host there. But I thought to myself, this is a small business. They need the support just like I need the support. Let's work together.
Right.
So they offered their space at $200. Now that cut into my profit a lot because I wasn't charging a lot at the time.
Right.
But it was my ability to get good pictures. I needed one venue that I could say, and by the way, at that point, you could say, oh, they gave it to me for free. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to move around it. But I needed photographs of me at that venue with the students for it to roll into what it could be.
What did you glean from Justin's clip?
I think he really demonstrated perseverance, and he's able to say it with such a positive attitude.
Right.
I mean, really, July in Bakersfield,
No
no
air
AC,
conditioning, yeah.
$200, cutting into profits. Like, that's a lot of negative things stacked against him.
Right.
And yet, he's able to relay that with such positive attitude. And I think universally, what I've noticed about the people we've had on our show is that good entrepreneurs that are seeking to grow are willing to adapt and persevere, and they don't look at the things against them as things that are against them, but simply solutions or problems that they need to find a solution for. I think Justin really did a good job of demonstrating that there's always a solution to your problems.
One of the things that I took from that too is that there are people who are willing to give him a chance. When somebody gives you a chance and gives you that opportunity, you grab it and you go. And the other thing that I also took from it is he was willing to shift and change. His goal was always the same, but he was willing to adapt what he was doing, his methodology, to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to our first Visioneer question, which is brought to you by Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised, never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear here on Small Business Celebration, just like Amber, who asked, What strategies can I use to create a business logo that remains relevant over time? And Visioneers, this question, the answer to this question, comes from Jeff Salters, the owner of Salty's Barbecue and Catering, from where we're actually doing and recording this episode. And let's look at his answer to the Visioneer question now.
I jokingly tell people that I want to be like the In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A of barbecue. They don't change. They built something, they built a brand, and the brand works. Build it, believe in it, and make it work. As small business owners, one of the things that I see out there is self-doubt. Don't be a doubter. Just step up and say, you know what? I believe in this. This is the way I'm headed, and we're going to go. Now, I've had people over the years say, hey, we need to update the logo. And I look at them, I said, why? Well, because things have changed. I said, when people look at that logo, they know who we are and they know where we are. There's no doubt about it. That's Salty's.
What did you glean from that clip?
You know, I think Jeff said it best when he talked about In-N-Out and Chick-fil-A.
Right.
How wherever you go in the United States, you know that logo is going to mean good food, quality food, and it's going to be the same across the board. You don't have to question the quality. And not that those companies don't continue to market, it's just that they know that their logo was good and they don't need to change it. And I think a perfect example of this is during my college days, myself and a few other students worked for a coffee shop in their marketing department.
Okay.
We came on and they had nobody doing their marketing.
And that was a brand new shop.
It was a brand new shop. Well,
Right.
it had been open, I think, about 6 months at the time.
Okay.
And the owners who had opened it were great people, super lovely couple. But even from the way they talked about their business, I remember them saying that they were told restaurants often fail.
Right.
And they had good food, they had good coffee, but that mentality of, well, restaurants often fail, meant they invested nothing in marketing. They didn't invest even much in the vibe of the coffee shop.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting. So my team, we were painting walls, we were taking pictures.
6 months after that opened, you're painting the walls.
We were redecorating the entire coffee shop, and they told us within the couple months that we worked with them, they had so many people coming in. It was amazing. They're like, wow, this is so surprising. When you invest in your business, it makes a difference. Unfortunately, they had to shut down though, but I think that really came from the indecision in marketing in the beginning, led to the inevitable downfall. And I think Jeff made a great point of when you take the time to invest in your marketing and you are decisive in that regard, then usually you're able to be decisive in other matters. Because indecision is a mindset, whereas decision is also a mindset.
And that brings us to the Visioneer game. And Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the words that are going to be generated are, but more importantly, neither does producer Emily. And Emily's got to take each of the 3 words that I give her and somehow associate each word with her job here on Small Business Celebration. And the Visioneer game is brought to you by Scaffold Solutions Unlimited. Are you having to get to hard-to-reach areas for repairs, painting, stucco, remodeling, or any place where you need to keep your employees safe? Reach out to Scaffold Solutions Unlimited. Their experienced team provides top-level scaffolding solutions for all of your construction needs. Get safe, efficient, and cost-effective scaffolding today. Call them for a free quote at 661-374-4234 or see their work at scaffold-unlimited.com today. Get the reliable scaffolding services you need. Call Scaffolding Solutions Unlimited today at 661-374-4234 or at their website at scaffold-unlimited.com today. Now, Emily, you do realize normally the fate of an entire industry is based on the guest's ability, but in this case, our entire existence on YouTube is based on your ability to get these 3 words right. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, your first question is set. S-E-T, set.
Well, every time we walk into a new business, we set up our equipment.
Right.
And they're always surprised at how many things we bring.
Well, very good. Well, congratulations. That's word number 1. 1 down, 2 to go. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Penalty.
Penalty?
Yes, these words are really randomly generated. I have no idea.
If we don't cross our T's and dot our I's properly, YouTube will put a penalty on our video, and less people will watch it, and it's very annoying.
Very annoying, exactly. Very good, that's 2 for 2. Okay, and our third word, and it all comes down to this. Fog.
Fog?
Fog, F-O-G.
Fog. Well, sometimes with all these lights, guests can be kind of in a fog because it's so bright that they're sort of blinded by the light. It's a little foggy in their vision. Currently my contacts are kind of in a fog. You're a vision, but I can't quite see you.
Well, that's 3 for 3. Well done, you. The Small Business Celebration YouTube channel is safe once again.
Another day.
Yahoo! There's been a lot of things that you have seen and witnessed. What's one of the biggest lessons learned that you have learned from being on Small Business Celebration?
We often look at time as being against us, when really it's something that is for us, and we have to go through everything at a set time, and it prepares us for those bigger moments. And what I mean by this, because it sounds very whoo, when I first came on, I remember thinking, oh, it'll take about 3 to 6 months to start getting views. And every month, I would get so down on myself, like, oh, we've only gotten a few more subscribers or a few more views, and feeling like I'm doing something wrong, right? But I can only control my input. I can't necessarily control the output of the channel. That's up to the YouTube algorithm and our audience to like and subscribe and comment on our YouTube channel.
Love it!
But that it's not a bad thing to take time, because if we had 1 million subscribers a few months ago, we might not be at a place that we would need to be at to accommodate all those people and to really give them the best that we can. And time is really something that can be in our favor when we allow ourselves to be patient and to wait for things to happen, because good things come to those that are patient and perseverant. For business owners that are struggling and feel like they're just not where they want to be, it's not happening, time will tell, and each day is a drop in the bucket. But the bucket's got to fill up.
What is the biggest lesson you have learned as being a producer here on Small Business Celebration?
Be around people older than you.
Okay, why is that?
So I produce this channel, but I've also worked on other sets, and YouTube by nature is very young audience, and a lot of people that are making lots of money and lots of views on it, they don't really have the organization behind them because they just don't have the time. They don't have the wisdom that comes from being around people of different decades.
They haven't had that $10,000 mistake yet.
Yes. Yeah, or they have had that $10,000 mistake, but they didn't have anyone telling them, hey, that mistake might be coming. And even just being around people that are different mindset, different age, different demographic, I noticed that that's something that maybe people my age are not as invested in, and it's easy for us as young people to think we want to accomplish something so big at such a young age by ourselves without looking to the wisdom of people that have gone before us and done things again. And every business owner I talk to is by nature older than me.
Sure.
I won't say my age on camera, but you can guess in the comments. I'll just keep putting.
In fact, we'll give a special prize to the first person who gets it right. So go ahead and leave it in the comments, as well as your name in there, or at least your YouTube handle in there. First person to get it right, we'll send you a gift.
Yeah, you can't be related to me.
That's cheating.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's just something I've realized is that I would say the prideful thing would be to not ask for help. And a lot of young people would say that that's what makes them stand out as more accomplished. But I think that the reframe on that would be, I should ask for help because there have been people that have learned this before. Work smarter, not harder. That's something I've really learned from being on this channel, is whether it's from you or from our guests, I'm learning every single day something new that I couldn't have learned in my years of experience, because it takes somebody else in a different stage of life and a different life completely to be able to speak into my life.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is sponsored by Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Mike Saba is the sponsor of our second Visioneer question, who comes from Drake, who asks, we're launching a new branch over 4 hours away. What unexpected challenges did you encounter when opening a second location that we should be aware of? And this cutting room floor clip comes from
Pam Shockley of Fur and Feathers.
So to launch that business, first thing I did was I joined the Chamber of Commerce up there.
Right.
They were an amazing source of information. They do a lot of networking. We did a radio interview that was broadcasted. We did some advertising, digital advertising up there, and then we had a huge open house. The open house was great. We had 200 plus people come by. You know, it was amazing. And then we just kind of opened the doors.
Right. There's always something that doesn't go right, that you couldn't have foreseen. What was that thing for you?
Looking at how things launched here in Bakersfield, I was kind of expecting the same.
Okay.
I was expecting it just to word of mouth grow like this crazy thing, because there again is nothing like our facility up there. After we had this successful open house, I thought this is going to be it. Like, this is going to be great. And it was much slower opening than I had anticipated. It still did very well, paid its own bills, but just so much slower than I thought. It took us probably a year, because we opened in May, so that first summer was slow. Summers are busy time, and it was much slower than I thought. But the next summer, completely full all summer. So it took a little time.
What did you glean from that?
What I appreciate about what Pam had to say is she had a plan of what she was going to do, and she was working smarter, not harder. Comes all the way back down to that. A lot of business owners, I don't think, take full advantage of the Chamber of Commerce, and that is such a useful tool and resource that most places have. So that is a great example. And also, she recognized the thing that I think a lot of business owners sometimes can struggle with, because I know I've struggled with it, but you don't get a trophy for not asking questions.
Right.
You don't get a trophy for doing it all by yourself.
Right.
But she recognized, okay, I'm not from here. I need to learn about this place as much as I can, as fast as I can, and I need to use the people that are already there to build up my business. And having a plan of action and doing things that got her into the community was something I really took away, is she used her resources and she asked questions.
It's no secret that there's a lot of business owners who are struggling right now. And you have had the privilege of sitting through a season now, a full, complete season of listening to business owners. And yes, we have successful business owners on the show, and they have a different mindset. What have you discovered from listening week after week after week from business owners on what they say to other business owners?
I mean, they're very encouraging, all of them, because I think they've all been there. And something I've really noticed is that no one business owner is alone. As much as we'd like to think we are unique and special, we're not.
Right.
Our problems are universal. Our business struggles are universal. They're not alone. And I think that's something I've recognized being a part of Small Business Celebration, is that everybody struggles. And it's having patience, it's having perseverance, it's being creative, it's staffing your weaknesses, it's looking outside yourself. If the business isn't doing well, it's recognizing that everything takes time, and being encouraged that you're not going through it alone.
And if Visioneers want to learn more about Small Business Celebration, where do they learn more about us?
We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram at Small Business Celebration, or they can find us here on YouTube or other major streaming platforms of podcasts, Spotify, Apple, anywhere where you can see videos and pictures.
And after a quick thought from Planned Exits, we're going to be talking about why you can't ever win an argument.
Thank you, Michael. Studies have shown that business owners often have up to 80% of their total net worth tied up into their company. Sadly, 80 to 90% of small businesses never sell for two reasons. One, the business owner thinks that the company is worth more than it actually is, or two, they just wait too long until something devastating happens. Often, a plan is never made prior to divorce, disability, or death, so there is no sale of the business, it simply folds. If you would like to have a plan, visit my website at plannedexits.com.
Why you can't win an argument. Shortly after the Christmas holiday, my mom and I were sitting in my kitchen and catching up after her long train ride when she mentioned, "Michael, I've been texting you all day." And I thought to myself, no, I haven't gotten a single message from her. And I told her so. I said, no, I haven't gotten any messages from you. And she said, no, I've been texting you like frequently today to let you know my progress on the train. And I thought, and I told her, no, I haven't gotten a single text from you. In fact, I haven't gotten a text from you in a very long time. And she was very insistent. She pulled out her phone and she looked and she said, no, Michael, I've been sending you quite a few messages here from my phone. And I thought, no, I pulled out my phone and I looked under her name and I hadn't gotten a single one from her. And I said, no, Mom, I haven't gotten a single message from you. Well, she was very insistent now and things were starting to elevate. She said, no, I've got all these messages that I've been sending. And I looked at them on my phone and I said, no, I haven't gotten a single message. And she turned her phone and pointed at me and she said, look, Michael, I've been sending all these messages to you. And I turned and I took my phone and I pointed at her, said, no, I haven't gotten a single one from you either. And she said, no, Michael, I've been messaging you. And I said, no, I haven't gotten a single one. And that's when I realized you can't win an argument. And the reason is because an argument only takes place when both parties think that their position is absolutely correct and there is no room for error. And so I paused for a moment and I thought, wait a second here. My mom has an Android phone for one, and two, she is not a technophile. And so I went over to her phone and I took a look and I noticed that she had been sending text messages to my email address, not to my phone. So I took a moment and I paused and went through her contacts, and she went through the contacts on her phone and realized that no, she could actually send text messages to my phone, and she went ahead and made the changes. And sure enough, my mom is able to text me anytime she wants to my phone, not my email. All because it took a moment to realize that when you have an argument, and then there's no way you can win an argument because you're both absolutely correct in your position. It's the time when you take a moment to think about the other person, about their life journeys, and also entertain the possibility that possibly there's a third option. And that is how you go through and realize that you can solve the situation, you can solve the problem, and understand to yourself and know full well that there's no way that you can win an argument. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. 3 reasons why a YouTube channel fails. 1, you're not interesting. 2, nobody cares what you have to say. Or 3, you're spending too much time worrying about what everybody else thinks or wants to talk about. Be original, be you, and be interesting. Ways to grow your YouTube channel are:
ask for criticism, use that criticism to your advantage, and be willing to make adjustments. It's all about tweaking. The biggest reason creators and entrepreneurs fail is because they're unwilling to take constructive criticism. They're unwilling to hear that their baby is ugly. And sometimes it just is. And that doesn't mean that their baby won't grow up to be a very beautiful human being, but they have to be willing to take what they have and hear other people's opinions of it and grow in that direction. You have to be willing to figure out who to listen to. You want to go with somebody who's actually doing what you want to do. YouTube is the same thing as an elevator pitch. You start with your long summary of who you are, what you do. You narrow it down to your TED Talk paragraph of who you are and what you do, and you go all the way down to if you had 10 seconds in an elevator with someone, who are you and what do you do? And that is what you use on any social media platform to grow. Sometimes your relatives that have grown up with the luxury of not having to do anything in the business, but knowing everything about the business, still don't want to do anything in the business, and they become a line item. They're just an expense instead of an investment. If you hire your daughter and she sucks and she's just taking money from you, then that's going to be horrible for the business. But it could be a good thing if your daughter actually used what she knew about the business to grow the business, then she's an asset. If hiring your loved ones is a liability, then I would say nepotism is bad. But if it's an asset, it could be good. People are always looking for an angle in business, and the best angle you can take is to shut up. Too many people talk when they should just listen. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger, and everyone will always think you're the smartest person in the room. If you're not starting your YouTube channel or your Instagram or your business, it's often because you think nobody's gonna wanna watch, gonna wanna listen. But what people don't understand is we all have different preferences. My preference is gonna be different than your preference, but because of that, everybody's got a group of people that will want to watch, that will want to engage. If you're looking to satisfy everybody, you're gonna get nobody. But if you look for the people that are in your circle, that's how you're gonna grow. That's who's going to watch your YouTube channel. If we're thinking about the grand scheme of things, it's not just having a niche, it's finding people with your same preferences.